Uh-oh, no extradition because of inhumane circumstances in the prisons of the target country. That's how courts often decide. And a decision by the Karlsruhe Higher Regional Court shows that this can also apply to Great Britain. The fact that extradition fails because the prison conditions in the destination country are humane is nothing new. But normally one thinks here of countries in distant parts of the world or of EU countries such as Bulgaria or Romania, who still have some work to do. At the beginning of the year, however, the Karlsruhe Higher Regional Court classified the extradition of an Albanian to Great Britain as currently inadmissible because of the prison condition there. Jan Carl Jansen, the Freiburg lawyer who fought for the decision, assumed that it is the first such decision in Germany. The case decided by the Higher Regional Court was about an Albanian who lived in Great Britain. The police accused him of drug trafficking on a large scale. It was about 5 kilograms of cocaine. He is also said to have laundered money equivalent to 384,000 euros. And there was a warrant for his arrest from Westminster Magistrates Court. The Albanian had come to Germany because his fiancée lived here and was seriously ill. Based on an international arrest warrant, a so-called red notice from Interpol, the German police temporarily arrested him on December 28th last year, and the man ended up in custody pending extradition. Attorney Jansen is actually a criminal defense attorney and not an extradition specialist, but he knows about the British penal system. Jansen studied part of the time in Glasgow and later wrote his dissertation on the topic Development, Practice and Criminal Policy Background of the Penal System in England, Wales and Scotland in the national and international comparison. Accordingly, Jansen knew where the weak points of the British prison system lie: chronic overcrowding, staff shortages, violence among inmates. And some of the prisons date back to the Victorian era in the 19th century. Some of the cells are too small, too dark, and poorly ventilated. The Karlsruhe Higher Regional Court was impressed by these statements and demanded guarantees from the British side for compliance with minimum standards in accordance with the, here we go again, European Convention on Human Rights. In addition, the British side should announce in which prisons the Albanian is to be imprisoned and what his prison conditions will look like there. Since Great Britain is no longer a member of the EU, the rules of the European Arrest Warrant no longer apply there, but rather the Trade and Cooperation Agreement, the TCA, concluded between the EU and Great Britain in 2020. Thereafter, the execution of a TCA warrant may be conditional. If there are reasonable grounds to believe that there is a real threat to the protection of the fundamental rights of the requested person, the executing judicial authority may, if necessary, request additional guarantees for the treatment of the requested person after surrender, before deciding on the execution of the arrest warrant. That's Article 604 in the TCA. On the last day of the deadline set by the Higher Regional Court, an email arrived from a police station in Manchester, which rather increased the court's concerns. It contained no guarantees, but indicated that Britain would create 20,000 new prison places to overcome overcrowding. The letter from Manchester also contained no specific information on the planned place of detention, but only the indication that the first prison, the so-called reception prison, would probably be located in the London area. Attorney Jansen immediately drew the attention of the Higher Regional Court to the fact that Wandsworth Prison, which is particularly overcrowded at 160%, is also located in Greater London. The Higher Regional Court then politely asked whether specific guarantees and information would be forthcoming, this time with a short deadline because it was a matter of detention. But nothing more came from Great Britain. Therefore, after the second deadline, the Higher Regional Court decided that the Albanian's extradition to Great Britain was currently inadmissible. Given the state of the British prison system, extradition would not be possible without British guarantees. There are no legal remedies against this. The Albanian was immediately released from extradition custody. He did not receive any compensation because the Federal Republic was not responsible for the detention, according to the Higher Regional Court. But now he is a free man again. He does not have to fear any criminal prosecution in Germany, as there is no starting point for this. The alleged crimes did not take place in Germany, nor does he have German citizenship. In that case, they would have done something if he was a German. However, the Albanian is not permanently safe either. In the end, Great Britain did not withdraw the red notice. The British judiciary could therefore later make a new attempt to obtain extradition. Attorney Janssen therefore initially refrained from going public. A few months after the decision, however, still nothing has happened, and so why this came out now, although this happened a little while ago, but I still think it's an important thing to talk about. And one thing was shown here in this video. The promises made by the British public all the time, without results in most of the cases, that's kind of what the Manchester police tried here with the German court. But promises for the future do not work with German courts. They, just like me, really love facts. And if you can't give facts like he will go to prison XY, which is not overcrowded, the cell is like this and stuff like that, it doesn't work. You cannot go to a German court with some very vague promises or other vague stuff. Then something like this happens. And this was indeed something very new. And it's embarrassing, to be honest, that this happens to Great Britain, that an extradition was denied because of poor prison conditions. Yeah, shit happens. If you want to know more about UK politics or Brexit, the next video is right here in the end screen. I'll see you there. I'll be back.